Good oral hygiene and having healthy gums and white teeth shouldn't be complicated. I'm going to talk about that in this video. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to discuss simple methods to have white teeth and healthy gums. Now, disclaimer, this is not a substitute for regularly visiting your dentist. I am not a medical professional, so don't take anything in this video as official medical advice. This is just my opinion, my experience. With that out of the way, let's get started. I have discussed with my dentist these methods, and he agreed with me that it is a good way to maintain the whiteness of the teeth and healthy gums in between dental visits. So with that being said, let's get started. First and foremost is brushing your teeth with toothpaste. Now, this is obviously an obvious method. Everybody knows to do this, but it bears mentioning that this is one of the most effective things you can do and one of the simplest, easiest things you can do to keep your teeth white and have healthy gums. The main thing with this method is, even though it's simple, keep these simple things in mind. You have to do it consistently, and that's the key. Even though this is a simple method, people find it hard, at least some do, to do this consistently and frequently, and that's what you have to do. Ideally, you want to do this in between meals, or at the very least, before you go to sleep at night and when you get up in the morning. If you can do that, but the preferred method is to do it when you go to sleep at night, when you get up in the morning, and in between every single meal. If you can do that, this is going to go a long way to accomplishing, a healthy, having a healthy gum and just promoting a healthy lifestyle that's going to give you white teeth, at least help you maintain white teeth and healthy gums, a healthy mouth. That's going to go a long way to keeping your appearance looking very good, because in today's society, for better or worse, people are, partially judged, at least initially, on their appearance, and maintaining a presentable smile and good teeth, healthy gums. That all goes into, just overall health and overall, having a good professional look. So, toothpaste, brushing your teeth regularly, that's my first tip. Secondly, what you want to do is make sure you use a quality toothbrush. Now, don't think that you need to use a toothbrush that is expensive. That's not what I mean by quality. What I mean is, don't be afraid to, every once in a while, it's not going to kill you to, swap out your toothbrush and replace it with a new one. Toothbrushes do get old, and let me get the obvious out of the way. They can become, not as effective for, I'm not going to go into graphic details, but they can, lose their effectiveness over time as you use it. Take time in the supermarket or whatever, wherever you shop, pick up a new toothbrush. It doesn't have to be the most expensive one on the market. Just a toothbrush that is comfortable, that has a nice firm brushes, so that you can brush your gums, brush your teeth, and that it doesn't hurt your mouth. This is an individual thing. Just find the one that works for you. The key is to get a toothbrush, a new toothbrush, every once in a while. Replace it. Now, if you're brushing your teeth every day like you're supposed to, multiple times a day, I recommend, my experience only, I recommend that you do it every couple of months. So every couple of months, I buy a new toothbrush. They don't have to be that expensive, so don't worry that you're spending a lot of money, because you don't need to. I certainly don't. There are good toothbrushes now that are relatively affordable, so you can afford to, like, maybe once every couple of months, get yourself a new toothbrush and continue using that, brushing your teeth with a new toothbrush method, and you will get and maintain your results. Next method is floss. Flossing is very important to do, and this is something that it's kind of like my secret weapon, because a lot of people do not floss, and flossing is actually pretty easy to do, but at first it can seem inconvenient. It can seem like, it's a nuisance to do it, it's annoying to do. But if you do this, flossing kind of like takes the combination of using toothpaste, brushing your teeth regularly, if you combine it with flossing, that's an amazing combination, very effective combination, because this does things that you can't do with a toothbrush. So when you floss, you're actually getting deeper in between the teeth, closer to the gums, taking out food particles that are in there that kind of are basically almost impossible to reach with a toothbrush, or at least very difficult to reach with a toothbrush. You can do it with flossing. So definitely floss. It's not hard to do. These are great things. You open it up, you pull the thing out, you floss. I don't need to go into how to use it, but the key is floss regularly. The strategy for flossing is not as important, so I'm not going to go into a specific strategy here. It's common sense how to floss. If you don't know, Google it. But if you can just floss, basic flossing, nothing, there's no special secret here. That's my point. There's no, unique way to floss that's going to give you any better results. The key is, like a lot of things in life, is to be consistent with it, floss regularly, and do it in a way that you get in there effectively. So just be mindful of just a common sense thing. Make sure that you're getting in between all of the teeth, and make sure that you're not hurting yourself, obviously, but there's a little sweet spot. Everybody's gonna have to determine that for themselves, of flossing enough so that you can get in there in between the teeth, but at the same time not causing obviously damage to your gums. Now, if you've never flossed before, or if you're not used to it, it's very possible that you might notice a little bit of sensitivity in the gums, and in an extreme case you may even have a little bit of bleeding. That's probably normal, only because you're maybe using a little bit too much force, or your gums are just not used to it. But I promise you this, the more you floss, the more resistant your gums are going to be to feeling any kind of like pain or discomfort, and you won't be bleeding anymore. And that's important to do. That's a sign that your gums are getting healthier, they're getting stronger, and your teeth are going to stay clean longer because you're removing more of the food particles that you can't necessarily get to with just using a toothbrush alone. And lastly, the final tip is to use a travel pack when you are not at home, when you're not next to somewhere where you can, your normal place, if you're like in a hotel and you're traveling around, or if you're in business at a conference, or even if you're just in business in your office. You're not at home, you may not have your toothbrush, your flossing, equipment. You use, common sense, take the stuff with you. Take the gear that I just described with you. Now, it's very easy to do this now. You can go to a lot of supermarkets and get pretty nicely designed travel packs already packaged for you, so that you can always have at your disposal a very small, compact, easy to carry around toothbrush, floss, and maybe even mouthwash. That's something that is nice to do as well, just to kind of finish things off, to get that fresh, minty breath. But definitely consider using one of these little travel packs, because this is kind of going to help all the other methods, because it's going to, the main thing about this is going to keep you consistent for longer. So what I mean by that is, if you're the kind of person that thinks, well, I'll at least brush in the morning and at night, and I'll just floss whenever I can, whenever I'm at home at night. And that's fine to do. But if you have a travel pack with you, now you can kind of carry over that strategy more often when you're not at home. So this is important. Use this not only when you're just going to hotels. That's an obvious one. People go on vacation and they'll bring these travel things with them. That's pretty obvious, right? Everybody does that. But what I'm suggesting is, even at work, keep one or two of these at work. Keep one of these in the car, or just in a travel bag with you, because it doesn't have to be just vacation. You're not on vacation every day, obviously, but you are at work every day. You are traveling maybe every day for business, or just going to somebody's house, maybe visiting people, visiting family and friends. Having one of these little travel packs with you is important, because you're gonna now be able to floss, or at least brush your teeth, use mouthwash whenever you're not at home. So this is important. Don't neglect this method. It's gonna really amplify everything else that I discussed in this video. So guys, with that said, we've reached the end. Hope you got something out of this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.